Well, good morning to all of you, or good early afternoon. I hope you're doing well today. I'm going to try to push my way through these videos. I got some suboptimal news about my doggo today, but that doesn't really change. I've got a job to do. And the only thing really to get my mind off the 12 large cancerous lumps located on my dog is reading cancer on the internet. Therefore, we shall do that. By the way, before we get into this, the beautiful Get Woke, Go Broke shirt, which supports the quartering and is now available at Crypto Fashion, is selling like hotcakes. I think almost maybe 100 close to already being sold. I can't wait to get all of your pictures wearing your shirt. We have a couple different designs, and it goes to support the channel. So if you want to support the channel while looking super sexy, this is an excellent way to do it. Anyway, Rian Roundhead Johnson begins blaming the fans for a bad movie. I saw this floating around yesterday where he had invoked Gamergate, of course, because everything that SJWs do and fail at is because of more Gamergate. The Last Jedi director, Roundhead Johnson, is no stranger to stirring up trouble. Referred to a large group of Star Wars fans who didn't like The Last Jedi as man-babies. We all remember that. Star Wars blogger Brian Junn recently posted a wildly inaccurate article on the Daily Beast that maligns Comicsgate in an attempt to explain why so many fans didn't like The Last Jedi. And we're going to get into that. Today's going to be a slightly longer double article video here because I want to paint the whole picture. And I want to really drive home that I think when people fail, regardless of their personal ideologies, obviously Rian Roundhead Johnson I would consider to be far left. Doesn't matter if you're far left or you're far right. There's a common theme with a lot of these rich virtue signalers, and that is that they lack any personal responsibility. Every failure in their life has been because of someone else, something they had nothing to do with, something they couldn't control. Those type of people will continue to fail in life. You can choose to stack the failure bricks on your head, or you can use them to build a ladder to success. People who consistently blame others for their own failures are eventually buried by them. He talks about, just the other day, I think Star Wars fans would do well to give this article a read. Some of the same players and new ones are pulling the same crap in our sandbox. When Johnson got into the act by attempting to label criticism of The Last Jedi as violent harassment campaigns, he ensures the blame is put squarely on Gamergate. I am always amazed how few people know about Gamergate. It's not only the key to understanding so many violent harassment campaigns going on today, it's a lot of the same people angry at the same stuff using the same book. That was him on July 9th. I'm sure that these two morons are high IQ, right? Oh, yeah, we see your boy, Ralph, the Ralphamale. No, it's that the movie was legitimately terrible. I wouldn't care if he was an avowed Maoist who drank Zoe Quinn's bathwater on the regular if the film was good. It wasn't. Yes, this is true. It is a bad movie. This is basically supported by Rotten Tomatoes reviews and just about anybody you talk to. It's unclear what Johnson is actually referring to when he says violent harassment campaigns. It's possible he might be referring to Matt Hickey, a former tech contributor at Forbes and Gizmodo, who pled guilty to indecent liberties and 2 counts of second-degree assault and a misdemeanor for fourth-degree assault. He was sentenced to 34 months. Hinckley was known as an anti-Gamergate journalist. He could be referring to Juan Thompson, who was arrested by the FBI for harassment, cyberstalking, and making death threats towards his ex-girlfriend. He was also an anti-Gamergate journalist. A report by Women Action and the media also find that 0.65% of Gamergate supporting accounts were harassing accounts. Young would quickly chime in to deflect the blame of poor product from Johnson. Yeah, it's disheartening, but it makes it easier to realize that it wasn't anything you did or Star Wars fandom as a whole. That's just these people, and we as a society are going to need to figure out how to deal with them as a whole. Maybe sounds like Brian Young might be looking some sort of what's the word for it? Like a final solution of sorts for Gamergaters, or for people who simply voice their concerns. The Gamergate movement, I am not an expert on it. I know what is basic. And that is, it's really a movement that pushed towards ethics in journalism and really just honesty. And in a lot of ways pushed against this PC culture narrative. And in that way, the Comicsgate community is the same. They don't want the same crap that was trying to ruin video games to fully ruin their favorite hobby, whether it's Marvel or comic books or movies or trading card games or board games. This is all we want. Screw who you want to screw, nobody cares. Color your hair whatever color you want, nobody cares. What we care about is when you stick your finger in our face and tell us that we're wrong, or that we're disgusting humans, or that we're harassers. And here's a perfect example. Comicsgate, how an anti-diversity harassment campaign in comics got ugly and profitable. A new ugly front in the online culture wars targets women, people of color, LGBT folk in the comic industry, and some have figured out how to cash in. Unfucking believable. Of course, it's on the Daily Beast, so we know it's going to be complete trash, but holy crap. If you have followed Comicsgate or really any of the gates, you know it's never been about harassment. You know that the FBI investigated Gamergate and found no wrongdoing. It's just a perpetual victimhood narrative that these people seem to live and breathe by. All of their failures are somebody else's fault, and they could succeed if just not for those mean trolls on the internet. Ugh. Anyway. In July 2017, 5 days after the death of groundbreaking comics publisher Flo Steinberg, a group of Marvel Comics female staff went out for milkshakes to celebrate her legacy. One of them was Heather Antos, at the time an assistant editor at the company working on the unbelievable Gwenpool terrible book, snapped a selfie with the group holding their sweets and posted on Twitter. What followed was akin to a feeding frenzy. According to a vocal contingent online, Antos and the Marvel Milkshake crew were fake geek girls, social justice warriors, and Tumblr virtue signalers. All these things are probably true, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. The sort of people who are ruining comics industry by their very presence. No, see, that's, again, a liberty he's taking. The author's taking that just isn't true. Heather Antos didn't have to push personal ideology into comics. She didn't have to have the artist paint her as the comic book hero. None of these things had to happen. She could have just done her job. That is what people had a problem with. The creepiest collection of stereotypical SJWs anyone could possibly imagine, one user tweeted, musing Antos' sexual availability. That another one wrote, better have her sign a consent form. She looks like the false rape charge type. Ha! So there's probably, 100,000 replies, and they cherry-picked like 3 of them. We all know how this works, of course. Anyway, let's get on by that. Comicsgate likely wouldn't exist without Gamergate. The harassment internet campaign went in 2014 famously used a ginned-up sexual scandal. No, pretty sure that hoe was sleeping with people in the industry to get, to help her terrible games to get reviews. That was not ever refuted. And the premise of, quote, ethics in video games journalism, yeah, because internet neckbeards could never ask for honest games journalism. Never. Never, never, never. We can't ask for it. We never want it. No, we're just out there in hopes of harassing people. That's all we want, right? Opportunistic figures saw a chance to build their brands by covering and egging on the harassment. In the end, Gamergate never really went away. It ascended, spread out, and lit a series of brush fires that pop up in pop culture spaces that are still smoldering. Few have been successful, but all the drama drawn out, the playbook that Gamergate perfected. This is the same crap, right? Like, the same, I don't even want to read it. So they put a hit piece on diversity in comics, right? That month, Meyer jumped into the fray with his YouTube channel. His video ramblings, unscripted, often 20 to 30 minutes long, like that's an issue, are a hodgepodge of comics reviews, analysis, and gossip regarding the endless online battles. He hammered his theme home with every entry that the failures of the comic industry were the direct result of hiring diverse talent. No, he has never said that. This is slanderous. I happen to know him personally. It has never, ever, ever been about what the people look like that the comics industry hires. It's them forcing their ideologies into the comic books. Please, if you're a mere normie, watch some of his videos. You'll know that this is complete bullshit and that talent need to be driven out. These videos have drawn admiring comments from Latino, liberal, and trans viewers, Meyer said, and provided screenshots of them. One of the things about SJWs is that they get a job because of surface qualities, being woman, being black, being gay, being trans. There's no adjustment on the ground to negative fan reaction due to low sales, he told the Daily Beast. The Milkshake crew particularly raised his ire. They obviously seem to be not qualified. They can't spot basic typos. They can't notice major plot holes. They antagonize the fans. These are all true things. This is true of the comics community. This is true of people in games journalism, in the gaming industry. This is true in trading card games, board games. At the end of the day, okay, at the end of the day, we as fans don't have a lot of extra money to spend on the things that we love. Maybe it's retro video games for you. Maybe it's comic books. Maybe it's Magic the Gathering. Maybe it's role-playing games. Maybe it's board games. Maybe it's video games. Whatever it is, most of us spend most of their life in a financial position where we only have a little extra cash and we choose to spend it on a hobby that we enjoy. And we don't take kindly to the people that produce that hobby, that produce those movies or those films that we love and that we spend our precious few extra spare dollars on, shitting on us publicly, calling us man babies, things like that. I mean, Rian Johnson is a complete and utter buffoon if he thinks that it's Gamergate's fault that Last Jedi sucked. The video was universally panned. He's using Gamergate as a shield to hide. He's saying, well, all the reviews are fake. Only people that, that don't like diversity didn't like it. It's the same thing they say about Solo, a Star Wars story, which lost $80 million at the theater. And we'll see Kathleen Kennedy peacefully sunset out of her job. I'm certain of it. It's all those anti-diversity people who took the time to not go to the movies to see a movie they didn't ask for, didn't look good. It didn't help when you had Ryan Roundhead Johnson and every far-left media outlet painting the fandom as toxic, anti-diversity, and things like that. This is the reckoning for these people. We will continue to vote with our wallets, and their shit films will continue to lose money until they show respect to the fandom and the customer base. Get woke or go broke.